All right, ready to dive deep. Today, we're taking on Marc Benioff's Trailblazer,
Oh, yeah, love this one.
and we're going beyond just Salesforce's rise in the tech world.
More like how business can be a force for good.
That's it. And Benioff's story is full of insights, like this moment he had in India.
Oh, you mean with the hugging saint?
Yeah, he was feeling a little lost amidst the startup chaos, sought guidance from Amma.
Right, and her advice was super simple but powerful. Don't forget to do something for others.
It's amazing how that one statement sparked a revolution in business philanthropy.
Yeah, leading to Salesforce's 1-1-1 model.
1%, equity, product, employee time, all dedicated to giving back.
And they committed to that right from the start, long before they were a big name.
Not a PR stunt, it was baked into their identity.
Exactly, and this commitment to values wasn't just for show.
Like when they took a stand against that Religious Freedom Restoration Act in Indiana.
Yeah, that was big. Could have allowed discrimination against LGBTQ plus folks.
Benioff and Salesforce weren't having it.
Threatened to pull business out of the state.
Other companies joined the cause.
That rolling thunder of economic pressure was serious.
Indiana had to reconsider,
The best part, Salesforce thrived during that time.
proving that doing the right thing doesn't hurt your bottom line.
It can actually be good for business.
Totally shattered that old myth that profits and values can't coexist.
Now, Benioff's journey, it's deeply connected to his upbringing.
Oh yeah, he talks a lot about his father, who ran those clothing stores.
Right, and it's fascinating how those early observations shaped Benioff's business philosophy.
Totally. His dad instilled a strong work ethic, absolute integrity.
And a focus on keeping customers and employees happy.
It's like those values became the blueprint for Salesforce's success.
Totally. Customer success is key, transparency is a must, employee well-being is prioritized.
We can't forget Grandpa Marvin. What an inspiration.
Oh yeah, his passion for progress.
Especially on those big civic projects. That resonated with Benioff.
Absolutely. Like, Grandpa Marvin was the force behind the Bay Area rapid transit system.
He wasn't just thinking about himself, he was thinking about the whole community.
And that's exactly what Benioff's done with Salesforce.
It's not just about the company, it's about building something bigger.
Speaking of community, remember that Toyota friend concept Benioff talks about?
Okay, refresh my memory. What was that all about?
Picture this, a social network connecting Toyota drivers directly with the company.
Interesting.
It came about during that crisis they had with unintended acceleration.
Ah, I see.
It was a way to build trust and transparency in a tough situation,
Makes sense.
allowed Toyota to communicate directly with customers, get feedback, address concerns.
So powerful. Showing vulnerability can actually strengthen a brand's relationships.
It's about saying, hey, we're not perfect, but we're committed to making things right.
Honesty and trust. That leads perfectly into one of the biggest decisions Benioff faced.
The potential acquisition of Twitter,
Oh yeah, the deal had never happened.
a story for the ages.
I was on the edge of my seat reading that part.
Benioff was convinced Twitter would be a valuable asset.
But he faced pushback from his team, investors, everyone.
The pressure was on.
He's literally on his way to pitch the deal
To those credit rating agents.
when he saw a single bird dropping land on his car.
Wait, what? A bird dropping?
Yep, you heard that right.
What does that have to do with Twitter?
Well, for Benioff, it was a sign, a moment of intuition.
Telling him to reconsider.
You can call it superstition, but he trusted his gut and walked away from that deal.
Talk about a good call.
Looking back, that Twitter acquisition was a mess.
It fell apart spectacularly.
It shows sometimes the most important voice is the one inside your head,
Reminding you to trust your instincts.
no matter how crazy they might seem at the time.
Right. It also highlights the importance of being adaptable.
Recognizing when to pivot, no matter how brilliant the original plan was.
And that brings us to customer success.
Benioff shares a great story about a wake-up call they got from Merrill Lynch.
One of their biggest clients back then.
It's a classic example of why going beyond just delivering features is so crucial.
Merrill Lynch was using Salesforce, but not getting the results they wanted.
So Salesforce had to dig deeper.
Figure out the problem behind the problem.
It wasn't about what Merrill Lynch was asking for.
It was about what they actually needed, even if they couldn't articulate it themselves.
They had to go beyond just checking boxes.
Deliver solutions that went deeper.
And that approach influenced how they worked with other companies too.
Like Home Depot.
They were facing the massive challenge of online retail disrupting their whole business,
Salesforce helped them connect with their community in a new way.
leveraging technology to build relationships and offer a better experience.
It wasn't just about selling products, it was about becoming a trusted resource.
And it worked. Home Depot defied the retail trends.
Embracing a digital strategy that put the customer at the center.
It's a comeback story for the ages.
Proof that even established companies can thrive in a changing world.
If they stay focused on customer needs and adapt their approach.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that the world keeps evolving.
You have to innovate and adapt to stay ahead.
Now let's talk about the heart of Salesforce's culture.
Ohana.
That Hawaiian concept of family.
It's more than just a slogan for them.
It's woven into everything they do.
From day one, new employees are welcomed with volunteer work.
Showing them giving back is central to their identity.
They even have Camp Be Well and mindfulness rooms.
Prioritizing employee well-being in a high-pressure environment.
It's about creating a tangible, lived experience of Ohana.
Where employees feel connected, supported, part of something bigger.
And that extends to their equality groups.
Creating safe spaces for dialogue and action around social issues.
So they're putting their values into action.
Creating a culture where everyone feels valued and empowered.
But how do you keep everyone aligned in such a large organization?
That's where Benioff's V2MOM framework comes in.
Okay, break that down for us.
The E2MLM, it stands for vision, values, methods, obstacles, and measures.
So it's like a roadmap for success.
You start with a clear vision of what you want.
Define your values.
Outline your methods.
Anticipate obstacles.
And set up ways to measure progress.
And Benioff says it's not just a top-down thing.
He wants everyone in the company using it.
From interns to executives.
It's about empowering everyone to own their work and development.
And that ties into a broader theme. Stakeholder theory.
It's getting really interesting now.
Especially today, when businesses are under pressure to address social and environmental issues.
Stakeholder theory says businesses have a responsibility to consider all stakeholders.
Not just shareholders.
Employees, customers, suppliers, the community, the planet.
It's a shift from purely profit-driven thinking.
Recognizing how interconnected business and society really are.
Benioff didn't just talk about it, he lived it.
And he faced some tough choices along the way.
Like that controversy with the Customs and Border Protection contract.
During the family separation crisis.
Some employees felt working with CBP went against Salesforce's values.
It put Benioff in a really difficult spot.
He had to weigh employee needs, customer demands, the company's reputation.
There were no easy answers.
But it sparked a crucial conversation about ethical decision-making in business.
And the challenges of sticking to your values when tough trade-offs are unavoidable.
It's a reminder that doing the right thing isn't always simple.
Sometimes it means making hard choices.
And engaging in those uncomfortable conversations.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking a stand,
Benioff's a big advocate for tackling homelessness, especially in San Francisco.
He really championed Proposition C.
That ballot measure to increase taxes on corporations to fund homeless services.
A bold move that put him at odds with other tech leaders.
But for Benioff, it was a matter of principle.
He saw a problem and took action, even when it was unpopular.
What a great example of how business leaders can leverage their power for good.
To address social issues that impact their communities.
This is just the beginning of our deep dive into Trailblazer.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface.
We'll be back to explore more of Benioff's journey.
And the lessons we can all learn from his approach to building a values-driven business. It's amazing how Benioff really gets this idea of a new social contract for business.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. What does he mean by that exactly?
Well, it means companies aren't just answering to shareholders anymore. They've got a responsibility to society, employees, the planet, the whole picture.
It's true. People are demanding more from businesses these days.
Absolutely. They want to see companies taking a stand.
Consumers and employees, they want to support businesses that match their values.
Exactly. And Benioff's a perfect example.
He's not afraid to speak out, is he?
Not at all. Climate change, LGBTQ plus rights, social justice. He's right there on the front lines.
He understands that it's not just the ethical thing to do.
It's good business sense, too.
We've definitely seen this rise of CEO activism.
It's become the norm, not the exception.
Violence isn't an option anymore.
Companies and their leaders, they're being held accountable for what they do and what they don't do.
Like Benioff's fight against homelessness in San Francisco.
Right, his support for Proposition C, that was a big deal.
Increasing taxes on corporations to fund homeless services, some tech leaders weren't happy about it.
But for Benioff, it was about doing the right thing.
He saw a problem in his city and wanted to fix it, even if it ruffled some feathers.
And it wasn't just about policy. He and Salesforce have been incredibly generous philanthropists, too.
They've done so much, especially in education.
It all ties back to that stakeholder theory.
Recognizing that connection between business and society.
And using your success to create positive change.
One thing that stood out to me was Benioff's emphasis on meditation and mindfulness.
It's not what you expect from a business leader.
Right. But he's really passionate about it.
He sees a clear link between those practices and leadership.
He talks about cultivating a beginner's mind.
Approaching challenges with openness and curiosity.
Being present, slowing down, really listening.
Which can be so hard in the chaos of running a business.
But he believes it makes you a better, more effective leader.
More compassionate, too.
It's about bringing your whole self to work.
And that brings us back to one of the most useful takeaways from the book.
Benioff's V2MOM framework.
So simple, but so powerful.
Vision, values, methods, obstacles, measures.
A roadmap for achieving your goals.
And he stresses it's not just for business goals.
He wants everyone to use it for personal goals, creative projects, anything.
I love that story he tells about explaining it to the CEO of Postmates on a plane.
Just randomly sharing this tool, empowering others to find their vision.
And that's what Benioff's all about. Inspiring others to be trailblazers.
Using business as a force for good, making a real difference.
He ends the book talking about Salesforce Tower, their headquarters.
Some might see it as a symbol of corporate excess.
But Benioff sees it as a testament to their values.
Transparency, trust, all of that.
Like he's saying, we're not hiding, we're here to be held accountable.
And he connects it back to his grandfather and the Bay Area rapid transit system.
Building something for the community, something that lasts.
It's a perfect ending because it shows how Benioff's personal journey and values are woven into Salesforce's success.
And that's what makes Trailblazer so captivating.
It's not just another business book.
It's a story about values, giving back, the potential of business to do good.
It's a call to action, to think differently about the role of business in society.
To use our influence, no matter how big or small, to make a positive impact.
It's really interesting how Benioff draws these parallels between his own journey and the growth of Salesforce.
Like they're on this path together.
He even admits to some early mistakes.
Like when their philanthropic efforts weren't fully integrated into the company.
Remember that story about donating computers to a school in D.C. and struggling to find volunteers from Oracle?
Oh, yeah, that was a wake-up call.
Giving back can't be an afterthought. It has to be part of the company's DNA.
And that's what they did at Salesforce.
It's not just writing checks. It's creating opportunities for employees to get involved.
The work they do with schools is amazing.
Adopting local schools, providing resources, mentorship, hands-on experiences.
Investing in the future for the students and for Salesforce.
Building that talent pipeline while giving back in a meaningful way.
And it all comes back to that Ohana spirit.
Extending that sense of family and responsibility beyond the company itself.
Recognizing our interconnectedness and the power of business to make a difference.
One thing that really struck me was Benioff's commitment to equality. It's core to Salesforce's values, and they've taken real steps to promote diversity and inclusion within the company.
Yeah, like that salary audit they did to address the pay gap between men and women.
That was a big statement.
Definitely. And creating those equality groups, giving employees a voice.
Empowering them to advocate for themselves and their communities.
It's about creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, and has a real shot at success.
It's not just about feeling good, it's a smart business move, too.
Right. So after this deep dive into Trailblazers, what are the big takeaways we can apply to our own lives?
Well, one of the most important is that business can be a force for good.
Absolutely.
It's not about choosing between profits and purpose. You can do both.
Lead with your values, be transparent, and use your platform to advocate for what's right.
That really resonates with everything we've been talking about.
Totally. And create a culture of trust, that Ohana feeling.
Where everyone feels connected, supported, and ready to do their best work.
We all have a part to play in this, and we have a responsibility to leave the world better than we found it.
That's a powerful message.
Benioff's really challenging us to be trailblazers, to rethink what business can be.
To use our talents and passions to make a difference.
This deep dive has been incredibly inspiring.
It really gets you thinking.
It reminds us that we all have the power to create change, to build a better future.
As you go through your day, your week, think about this.
What kind of trailblazer will you be? What impact will you have on the world?
That's a question worth pondering.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Trailblazer.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you're feeling inspired to go out there and make your mark on the world.
Remember, the future is ours to create, so let's make it a good one.